Hello, everyone, and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Tuesday, September 5th, 2017. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
Please remember, everyone, you can help support our show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet. In addition, if you would like to come chat with us and watch the show live, we do go live on Facebook Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Alaska time. That is 7 p.m. on the West Coast and 10 p.m. on the East Coast. Nathan, how are you doing today?
I'm tired as shit. I had to run around the entire building, so like my legs are killing me. I just want to sleep again.
Why run so much?
Because I was working the window that is specifically only for pulling files, and a lot of those files are up in judges' chambers. Or across the street at Boney.
Sure. Again,
Yeah.
You get to take that sick underground tunnel?
Yeah, but that doesn't stop my knees from killing me.
No. And the novelty of that underground tunnel between the two courthouses wears off pretty quick.
Oh yeah, no, easily.
You're like,
oh, this is cool, like the first 3 times.
You're like, yeah, and then you're like, well, I guess it beats being outside.
I mean, right now, yeah.
Yeah. And that's about as far as it goes. I used to take that tunnel all the time when I was doing security because we'd have to check both buildings. And the outside of the Snowden building, interesting enough. But we never checked the inside, so...
Maybe they have people already on the inside that just aren't allowed to leave.
Maybe? I don't know. It definitely wasn't anyone through the security agency when I worked there. No one was part of the Snowden building. So, don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Either way. Anything else exciting happened today?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Shall we just do some news then?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? You ready to get into it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
10.
SpaceX says the world's most powerful rocket has completed first stage testing. It could carry up to 37,000 pounds of cargo and crew to Mars.
This was submitted by Hardy Part to our space.
You know, as we get into this particular topic, I just want to say I appreciate Elon Musk so much. Either way, so this is going to be I lost its name, the Falcon Heavy, which is going to be one of the largest rockets that has ever been built, mostly because of how powerful it'll be. Right now, there is going to be 3 separate sections of the rocket in terms of getting to space, getting away from Earth, and then getting the rest of the way to Mars. They have completed most of the first stages of testings for the core section of the rocket, which means they have a few other sections to test, and then after that they'll actually be able to do a full-on test launch. And this is where I get into the appreciation of Elon Musk. They are expected to have their first actual full-on launch of the rocket this November. But Elon Musk said in his Twitter that he expects a really good chance of failure.
No, yeah. I mean, at least you know.
At least you're realistic, right? You're like, yeah, it's probably gonna blow up.
But I mean, shit, you're trying. Important thing.
Also past that, in a move that is unlikely to be replicated by any other member of the space organization, is that he took to his private Twitter account and announced that they are going to be releasing essentially a blooper reel of all of the SpaceX program's failed attempts.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
So you're going to get to see a bunch of sad rockets and blowing up rockets and failure rockets and all that stuff.
That's amazing.
Yep. It's going to be great.
That.
It's going to be great. Either way, that's cool.
Wait, why would you want to watch that when you can just watch pretty much anything about rockets from North Korea?
Boom! Except for they've gotten
not
a lot.
Quite a boom.
Well, I mean, they've been doing some pretty big booms recently. It got a lot of people concerned.
It's gotten better. A lot of them have just kind of been...
Yeah, but at the same time, it doesn't make it any less concerning. Like, they may be rolling on
hope that they blow up themselves.
I guess. I mean, we can roll on the we hope that they fail, but practice is starting to make perfect in that sense.
Well, I don't know, man. Apparently they're getting close.
Yeah.
9.
Coca-Cola grants permission to 2 men in Beaumont, Texas, a city with no water. Beaumont, Texas, a city with no water, to steal bottled water from the company's warehouse.
This was submitted by Sisyphus. Had it so easy to our uplifting news.
Did I hit the number 4 just now?
I don't know.
I don't either. Oh well, too late to
really
go.
tired, so I don't actually know.
Too late to go back and check. Either way, so in Beaumont, Texas, they have, of course, been heavily affected by a good amount of Hurricane Harvey. They have no water, and it doesn't look like they're going to have water anytime soon. So there's a concern on there. And so one gentleman, well,
Clean water, mind you.
yeah, I mean, there's plenty of water all over the place, but I wouldn't drink it. They asked Coca-Cola if they had any water in their warehouse, because there's a Coca-Cola warehouse in the town, but it was locked up and closed when Hurricane Harvey hit, and the Coca-Cola plant said,
Like Joel Osteen's church.
yeah, like Joel Osteen's church, which we'll be talking about next, actually. Anyway, they asked, hey, is there any water in there? And if there is it okay if we go get it? We don't have any. And Coca-Cola was like, yeah, sure. You're probably just going to need to either cut the lock off the door and just go cut the lock off, hammer it off, and then, figure out how to get the water out of there. So that's what they did. They had permission from Coca-Cola, went and used a handsaw to cut through the lock, smashed it off, and then carried out 14 cases of water.
Good. That's fucking sick. Ugh. Man, all right. So it almost makes me wish there was a theme park centered around doing B&Es.
B&Es?
Breaking and enterings.
Oh, why?
Because it's such a thrilling thing, and a lot of people get in trouble for it. But I mean, it's like a heart thumper when you break into someone's house. I think it'd be really fun, and especially since there's tons of movies where people are breaking into other people's house to rob their shit. Like, I think it'd be really fun to have like a Viceland, except not called that because Viceland's already taken, where you can go to this theme park and do mock breaking and enterings or mock robberies or something.
I wonder if it'd be as exhilarating / thrilling if it was a mock. Like, I think the thing that really makes people's hearts pumping is that normally whenever you're committing that, and I use the word committing that because it's normally a crime, it's that you're doing something wrong portion of it that really...
Well, yeah, that really gets them. But like, I don't know. I feel like if people get the same kind of blood pumping from paintball that they would from this, then sure, let's do that.
I mean,
I think it'd be fun for people to live out their fucked up fantasies like that. It would be like Purge Land, really.
Well, or they have those places that are like anger rooms where they set up a bunch of stuff in the room. You pay $20
You
and
smash them.
Yeah, you get to smash stuff. And I mean, also like escape rooms. I could see a correlation with those as well.
Yeah, no, it'd be just great just setting up like a theme park that's just a suburbia with a bunch of mock houses, and you're giving people some time to run into those houses through any means that you want to, and just steal as much shit.
I mean, sure. Do you have to give it back at the end?
Have it to where they turn in the shit afterwards when they get up to the certain areas. But it'd be fun.
Sure. I mean, anything can be that is totally monetizable. Nathan, get on it. Although I don't think it would do well up here. We don't have enough people.
If people wouldn't think it's real enough up here because everyone has a gun up here.
Sure. You have to get shot at during the mock B&E so that you can actually get the real effect for it up here.
Just get paintball guns and then throw on some weird sensor that whenever they fire, it sounds like a gunshot.
Sure.
8.
Joel Osteen, televangelist whose church closed during Hurricane Harvey, tells victims not to have, quote, a poor me attitude.
Submitted by Professor Peter to R. Not the Onion.
Dude.
What a dickhead.
Holy shit. Maybe it's rolling on any bad press is still good press because any press is good press, but at the same time, holy fuck, dude. So, here are some quotes from what he said at his Sunday sermon. I really have to believe in these times of difficulty. It's, for me, certainly not the time to question your faith, but to turn to your faith because God is the one that gives you the strength to make it through difficult times. We are not going to understand everything that happens, but, having a poor old me mentality or look what I lost or why did this happen, that's just going to pull you down. Like we've been talking about all night. You just got to turn it over and say, God, you're still on the throne.
All right, I would just like to point out that bottling things in any form, including, oh, hey, this is not good for me, but whatever, I got God. That's not a good way to express yourself. A lot of those people are upset, angry, just I feel like we should have set up the B&E place down there. They would have had all of the time, all of the fun, just letting out their frustrations. Looting is huge after a fucking disaster. That would be a great thing to have right now. Maybe not like actual looting, but like building setup so that people can get their pent out frustration out. Because like, shit, that's their entire life gone.
Well, and I mean, even past that, like, the thing that bugs me is that I understand a good portion of religion is that, you know, you can't take it with you. Your faith should be above any, not mundane, any trivial items, you know, the material goods of your life can always be replaced, right? Whereas your life and your faith cannot be. So your faith should hold strong to keep you above in your life, even at the loss of material goods. Here's the thing, though, is that, one, so much of our life revolves around material goods, and two, this is coming from a dude who lives in a $10.5 million mansion and goes home to that mansion at the end of every day and lounges in his massive house, blows his nose with $100 bills, and is the one telling people, you really shouldn't be so sad and upset that you didn't have a place to go, that we didn't open our doors, because God will guide you through it. Don't feel lost or feel sad that you lost your house and all of your stuff, because your faith should carry you through that. Now excuse me while I go lounge in my $10 million mansion.
Right, like...
This is literally the same thing as...
This is privilege, right there. Right then and there, privilege.
It's the rich man telling the poor man to not be poor.
Yeah, that's... Oh, man, maybe if you just stop being poor.
Yeah.
Maybe if you just stop being angry, everything will go fine.
Literally, some people do that. Like, we've talked about it before, of the rich people that are like, stop being poor. Like, why are you poor? Why don't you just stop being poor? Like it's a fucking choice. Like,
oh yeah, next time I go in to do my taxes, I'm going to check off that box that says, nope, he's not fucking poor anymore.
Yeah, like, and this is the exact same thing. It baffles me that there are people that can have this mindset. It's stupid. Like, this is the type of religious entity that I despise. Like, as much of a loungy, cushiony life as he lives, I really appreciate the current pope, because he knows what's going on. He knows where people are in the world and where people are in life, and understands. This guy does not.
And a lot of rich people do not, because a lot of rich people are fucking born into being rich.
Yeah. Like, it's
seriously causing the ignorance that these people have. Oh fuck, are seriously causing a giant, almost caste gap. Even though we don't really have a caste system anymore.
I don't know. It's starting to feel like it sometimes.
Right? It's like, what? We're not India, guys. We shouldn't have that kind of system.
So, either way, one last time to Mr. Joel Osteen. Fuck you.
Yeah, don't be a dickhead anymore, you fucking prick.
Like, and people are like, but he doesn't take any money from the church. His position in the church is what made him a millionaire. Like, he encouraged everyone in his sermon to buy his books to make him a best-selling author, and they did. Like, I'm like, there is a point where, you know, people are being sheeple, but at the same time, like, he may not get paid by the church, but he definitely profits from it.
Yeah, no, it's almost sickening, because, like, goddamn, I feel like we should be praising better people than this dickhead. Mm-hmm. There are definitely tons of priests and other cardinals and shit that are just so much better than him.
This is a dude that has been using religion for quite some time to purely better himself. And now that he made a bad choice, he slipped up, people are calling him out on it, and he's trying to use religion as a crutch.
He's a fucking shark preying on people.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to look at it.
It's disgusting.
Like, I know...
Don't let him do this.
I know people, like, I am not a religious person, but religion and religious people have helped me through some of the darkest times in my life, purely because they were good at being religious people, not because they were greedy fucks.
I mean, they could have just been good at being people.
Well, yeah.
The religious side.
Sure. Either way. Anywho.
7,
Report says that cruise ships showed, there's a fun tongue twister for you, showed contempt for customers by breaking clean air pledge.
This was submitted by 8 Rounds Rapid to our World News. Cruise ship showed. 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 Cruise ship showed.
Not bad. Good work. So what this is that there is an annual survey of 63 cruise ships around the world that is conducted by a German environment group called NABU. Anyway, last year they made an agreement. They made an agreement that at least 23 of the ships would be operating with soot filters. At this point in time, none of the ships have even come close to passing environmental standards for cruise ships, which is bad. If you do not know, the average cruise ship uses around 150 tons of fuel in a day, which is equivalent to 1 million cars.
Jesus fuck.
1 million cars.
Fucking cars per cruise ship?
Per day.
Ugh.
Per day.
Ugh.
It's not like a year. No, in a day, they put out as much pollution, as much particulate matter as 1 million cars.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yep. And several people in, not just on ships, but especially in ships, places where a lot of ships make port at, specifically in this case we're going to be referencing Florida, have complained to cruise ship companies because the consist of always having ships in their harbor, putting that much pollution in the area has a humongous detrimental effect on human beings. Because the pollution that cruise ships put out is specifically really bad for people.
Not only that, but it's being pumped into water.
Like,
which is really bad in general because you don't want to fucking poison any of the water on Earth.
Oh no, this is mostly airborne.
Oh, okay. I mean, either way.
NABU has been saying that the cruise ship industry has contempt for the health of its customers and port citizens because they're not responding to the need to clean their systems, essentially.
This is why we need the Galactic Senate.
We just need something.
Something that'll help.
Because, like
Emperor Palpatine.
I wonder how many... So, let's see. If there's 63... this survey does 63 ships. So that's 63 million cars a day in... That's a lot.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Like, how many cars operate daily in America, do you think?
Fuck. I don't know. Billions?
Billions? There's only 350 million people in America.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop people from switching cars out like they're fucking shoes.
Well, I mean, people get a new car every couple of years, but...
It's got to be at least million.
This says about 200 million, so... It's a little bit higher than I thought, but whatever.
Mm.
Anyway, yeah, put in your goddamn soot filters.
Yeah, no, it's one of the easiest things. Well, maybe not. Actually, I don't know how easy that is.
I don't know, they're just lazy, I think.
Yeah.
Because they don't make fucking millions off of the people that pay $3,000 for a fucking cruise ticket.
Mm-hmm.
6,
Denmark is selling off its last oil company and spending the money on wind power.
This is submitted by Mavia to Our Futurology.
There's not much to say past that headline besides congratulations, Denmark.
Yeah, no, this is great. They're a lot more sustainable than we are, but at the same time, that shows that these smaller countries can do it. Let's start, making this bigger so that bigger countries can do it too.
Yep, AP Moller-Maersk is going to be selling its oil and gas division to French giant Total for $7.45 billion. The majority of that purchase will be put towards offshore wind power. Thankfully, they're able to do this because Denmark is a small enough country that they don't have to get the power as far. That's one of the big problems with America is that while we have places that can generate renewable energy, getting them to the places where it's not generated is difficult. Because power does have a, what's the word I'm looking for? It starts to fall off, essentially.
Heaters?
Yeah, let's say you have 100 units of energy, but you need to send it, across the country. When it gets there, it'll only be 63 units of energy. It starts to deteriorate the farther you send it.
It
Wanes, deteriorates.
Yeah, wanes is a good. I feel like there's an actual term for that.
Diminishing returns. Is that what it is?
I think so.
I don't know. Either way, so like that's one of the biggest problems America has when it comes to getting more on renewable energy is because America is so big, but we don't actually have that many people. Whereas Denmark's quite small, so it's not as difficult to get the energy as far.
Yeah, which is great.
So,
but I feel like we should have more places that produce the energy in these bigger countries, so we don't have to send those as far.
yeah, it's a matter of time. I mean, plenty of states are taking the initiative to try and get that established, but I mean, it's going to take time. Even Denmark with this sale, like they won't have anything that generates it in their country anymore, but their current plan, they will not actually be fully off of fossil fuels until 2050.
I mean, that's still not bad.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're doing it is great, but I mean,
like,
it's still
less than 35 years?
Yeah, 33.
Most people, live longer than that. Most people.
So, either way, congratulations, Denmark. Way to take charge and lead the front in terms of renewable energy.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. Is it Denmark though?
What?
Is Denmark in the front of renewable energy?
Oh, I don't know if they're in the front, but they're the ones that are leading. I mean, the fact that they're selling off their last oil company.
So they are a leading.
Yeah. I don't know if they're the leading, but they're a leading.
Ugh, I hate those little, differences, little semantics.
Yep. Semantics are fun, and we all hate them.
I just thought it was go away.
Trump quietly nominates mass surveillance advocate to protect your privacy rights.
Submitted by nationalists are rhinos to our technology.
That's hilarious. So he announced the nomination of Adam I. Klein to be the chair of the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board, or PCLOB. It was created in 2004 in the recommendation of the 9/11 Commission and was intended to help the executive branch balance national security priorities with individual rights. It came back under review after the Snowden leaks, with everything that happened with those, because of what was revealed with the Snowden leaks in relation to the amount of surveillance that the country was doing on its own citizens. But Mr. Klein that board was set to protect the people, and Mr. Klein doesn't have a similar viewpoint. He definitely is on the side of we should be monitoring our people as much as we can for the security of their own, of the people's security.
That's not freedom.
I mean, we've talked about it. It's been quite some time, though. Like, I understand how it could be beneficial in terms of having mass surveillance across the country with large amounts of coverage regarding what the civilians do. The problem, and if it's just...
But that gives all of the power to break the law to the people watching everybody else.
Well, so Tom Merritt with the Daily Tech News Show summed it up best for me. And he's like, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you've done wrong. And there's so many thousands of miles of red tape and pages that are the United States law, that if for some reason they wanted to get you for something, if they had full access to everything you've ever done, they easily probably could do so. Because there are so many little things that just go ignored. That, so many. I mean, if you've ever had a fucking toilet reader, and normally they have the strange laws across the country. I think it's in Nebraska, you can't walk backwards down the road eating a hamburger.
Yeah, there's one in Alaska where you can't drop a moose out of an airplane.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stupid laws like that. But
I think it's illegal in Fairbanks for two moose to have sex on the road.
Maybe, I don't know, but I mean, while we laugh and giggle at those are actual legitimate laws, and there are some that are not as silly but never come up, that if they wanted them to come up in order to persecute you for something, they could. And that's why it's important that we are not constantly monitored, because then they don't have the control to do wrong against you at their pleasure, because, like I said, you don't know what you've done wrong. Because because originally I was of the mindset of like I don't do anything shady or shitty, so whatever, I don't give a shit. Like, but at the same time, it's like, well, they might though.
Yeah. I mean, either that or they're trying to find any excuse to throw you in prison.
I mean, yeah.
Because you're a dissident.
I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Look at my download history, and you can probably get me if you want to.
Yeah, probably.
You probably get most people our age, because everyone our age is broke, and we're like, Pirate Bay!
Pirate literally all of the things.
4.
Hurricane Irma upgraded to Category 5.
This was submitted by a left-handed lunatic to our news.
So everybody, we just got done with Hurricane Harvey, but we're not done yet. Hurricane Irma is making her way across the Caribbean right now, expected to begin hitting the Puerto Rico quite shortly, and just moving right along and ending its journey by just washing all the way across all of Florida. And it's huge, massive, and dangerous. It has hit Category 5, which reached speeds of, I think, 176? Was that how fast it got? And it only needs to break 157 to be marked a Category 5, so it's up there.
Yeah, just a little bit over.
It's expected to have a massive amount of wind and rain and damage. Like, if you have family or friends that live anywhere in the Caribbean or in Florida,
Tell them to leave.
Please make them away. Tell them, yeah, leave is probably a good idea if that's an option. I mean, in a lot of areas around the Caribbean, it's probably not an option.
Get on them boats and leave.
Well, I mean, at this point in time, a lot of the Caribbean can't anymore.
Make like palm trees and get the fuck out.
Thanks, Biff. It wasn't a direct quote, but it was close enough.
Yeah, it's close.
Lee Stewart in the chat room says it was 185, and now they're having gusts up to 226.
Oh, God.
Wow, yep, fuck a whole lot of that.
I thought our rains and wind were bad, but apparently it's not really even raining that much anymore.
No, no weather here is bad, aside from the occasional, like, decent dump of snow. Even the weather...
we get blizzards.
Yeah, not really in Anchorage, though. Like, those
Not
actually...
very much, yeah.
Those actually normally fall, like, a decent ways north.
I mean, you can get blizzards in Palmer and Wasilla.
Occasionally.
Sutton.
Yeah. Either way. I wish everyone luck there. Be aware. Make sure that if you have family or friends there to let them know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I
3.
am going to be doing that.
Putin on U.S. administration, quote, "It's difficult to talk with people who confuse Austria and Australia."
This is submitted by Dr. S.J. Smith to R. Not the Onion.
Yep.
Wow, 2 Not the Onion articles in one day.
Yeah, right. Good job. I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Not the Onion articles make me pretty sad. So, Vladimir Putin continued to mock the U.S. politics in a statement today. I'll give you some of his quotes, and he said, "It's difficult to have dialogue with people who confuse Austria and Australia. There's nothing to do about it. Apparently that's the level of political culture of a certain part of the American establishment. America's a really great nation, and the Americans are a great people, if they can endure so many people with such a low level of political culture."
Oh, fuck.
When questioned about Trump, when asked if he thought Mr. Trump was naive, he dodged the question. The only thing he was said is that Trump is not his bride and that Putin is not his groom. And then asked how he would feel if Mr. Trump was impeached, Putin said it would be absolutely wrong for Russia to discuss domestic U.S. politics.
I mean, that's fair.
So, I mean, he's keeping it pretty professional overall, but damn, slamming
Fucking
American
throwing
politics.
Shade. God damn.
Like, thanks for saying that we rock and our politicians suck, because you're not wrong.
Definitely. That's weird. I'm agreeing with Putin.
Right? Do you feel bad?
A little bit.
Yeah, I only feel bad because he's right about how much our politics suck.
Did you know that he stole an NFL championship ring?
Putin did?
Yeah.
From who?
I don't remember who, but some guy went over there to visit, was talking to Putin. Putin asked to see it. The guy handed it to him, and then Putin walked away.
Nice. That's awesome.
And then he also went to Japan. He went to a judo school there, asked to see all of their sick judo, and then proceeded to whoop everybody's ass at judo there.
Because he's a certified badass.
Dude, he's a badass when it comes to judo.
Pretty fucking awesome. All right.
2.
Utah hospital bars cops from contact with nurses after appalling arrest.
This was submitted by Surf and Pirate to our news.
So we didn't actually talk about it yesterday, but there was a huge kerfuffle around a University of Utah hospital where a nurse was unjustly arrested by police because she refused to draw blood from a patient. To give a quick recap of what that was, police were in a high-speed chase chasing someone down, and the person they were chasing lost control of their vehicle, swerved into oncoming traffic, and hit a semi, which then proceeded to explode.
Holy fuck!
The runaway driver was killed instantly. The patient was the semi-truck driver, who was also a I forget what the term is. Basically, like an on-call police officer, kind of like a reserve for like a reserve.
A militiaman.
Not necessarily like he'll show up when you need him to, but otherwise he has a full-time job.
Like National Guard.
Yeah, a lot like National Guard, but think for police instead of military.
Oh, so I mean, it's like a veteran firefighter.
Yeah.
Not veteran, a volunteer firefighter.
Right, exactly. And they didn't give a reason why, and we still haven't been given a reason why they wanted to draw this man's blood. But according to an agreement signed in 2015-16 by the University of Utah Hospital, they will only draw blood from a patient for the police under 3 circumstances. Is if the police have a warrant, if the patient consents, or if the patient would be under arrest. If none of those things are true, then they won't draw blood for the police.
None of that criteria was met.
No, I mean, he wasn't the runaway driver, so he wasn't under arrest. They didn't have a warrant, and he wasn't conscious, so he couldn't consent to the police taking his blood. The police got, I don't know, irritated. It was actually under orders of their captain to arrest the nurse. Yeah.
It's not obstruction.
Well, and that's what they were claiming, that it was obstruction of justice. And anyway, at that point, that whole thing shook out and went very poorly for the police. But in response to that, the University of Utah Hospital has said that under no circumstances, for any reason, are cops going to be allowed to speak to the nurses. They will not even be permitted in patient care areas, such as the burn unit where this particular patient was being held at. Officers will have to deal with house supervisors if they have a request.
Damn. They said, officers, you can fucks off because that one dude fucked up. And by that one dude, I mean the police chief.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So
if you're going to be a giant dickhole about it, claiming something's obstruction when you don't even clearly know the law yourself.
Yeah. So, either way, this is like the nurse shouldn't have been the one that was interacting with the police anyway. She has a job to do that doesn't involve working with the cops, which I mean,
try to save lives, motherfucker.
Yeah, she has a job to do. And so if the policy now is that officers will have to deal with house supervisors, I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. I think I would help. I would really like that to just be held up. You know, like stand fast by this.
Well, and the other thing is that it wasn't a calm arrest. Like the officers were instructed by their leader to escalate the situation, in which they physically grabbed her and dragged this nurse out of the hospital to arrest her.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I would
So
be pressing charges against some fucking police department right goddamn now.
yeah,
They're obstructing me from doing my job, which could end up having that man die.
yep. Luckily, he does seem to.
I am not having involuntary manslaughter shoved onto me.
Well, luckily so far, it does look like the gentleman is going to be making a full but slow recovery. He was driving a semi that exploded, so he does have a severe amount of burns. But he should recover, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. Honestly, that's one of the main reasons why I wouldn't want to do semi-truck driving, because you have to really know how to drive those fucking trucks.
Well, and in this case, like, there was, like, they didn't even have probable cause. Like, the dude was driving, he hadn't been driving very long, was in his truck, in his lane, not doing anything crazy. Just some dude that was doing 90 swerved into his lane and friggin', dove head.
But realistically, it's the guy that was going 90 that just had fucking manslaughter charges.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, he's dead, so.
Oh, that's fair.
1.
The North Korean mountain under which it's conducting nuclear tests is at risk of collapsing, which would send radiation across the regions, says a group of Chinese scientists.
It was submitted by Ord But Last Time Medic to Our World News.
I have no idea what that might be a reference to, but either way. So North Korea has been conducting the majority of its recent bomb tests inside a mountain in its northern region. This is very common as it allows them, not just for North Korea, but for weapons tests in general, for them to be done inside of a mountain. You can bore out sections of the mountain, which allows the blast to be contained and makes any hazardous materials also be contained. That said, is that the proper way to do these tests are expensive and difficult, and it is most likely that they have been doing them incorrectly. The way that you want to do them is you want to drill a massive vertical chamber for the bomb to be set off in, but it is more common that they drill a horizontal chamber because that's significantly easier to do since you drive forward instead of trying to figure out how to drill down. But they have done so many tests inside this mountain, and with the most recent humongous test, we talked about the H-bomb that they tested yesterday, which was 7 times the size of the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima.
Yeah, and it caused like actual earthquakes that people can sense from not in North Korea.
Yep, it was a artificial earthquake that was on the Richter scale a 6.3. But with that, they are at risk of causing the entire mountain to collapse, because when that explosive is set off, it takes out a large amount of the integrity of the mountain. And if it does go off, it means that any contaminants, any radiation, anything dangerous that is inside the mountain is just set free. It's literally it's like taking the lid off.
It's like Chernobyl bursting,
Yeah,
or Fukushima.
Right.
And we don't want any more Chernobyls or Fukushimas.
No, we don't.
Not even in North Korea.
No, we don't. This is also like the North Korea situation is not getting better because people be fucking dumb.
2 giant children butting heads.
It's not even 2 anymore.
No teacher to just
like
stop them.
It's not even 2 children anymore. Like, as much as I like to call Donald Trump a child, he is not the only player in this game anymore. The world is part of this game.
That's fair.
And
so
like,
it's more than just 2 children, it's all of the children.
Yeah, and I don't want to call like Prime Minister Abe a child. He's actually a pretty good dude. Same with like President Moon of South Korea. I don't know much about the Chinese president, but anyway. That said, they're still looking for solutions of how to try and de-escalate the situation, but it doesn't look well.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to get out of this without war.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. And like any answer I can think of besides people, calming the fuck down is not a good one. Everything that I see does not look well.
Aside from a successful coup from inside North Korea by North Koreans, like a civil war,
well, and
the whole fucking world might get involved.
Well, and even
probably are going to get involved.
Even if that were to happen, there'd still be a pretty significant loss of life.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, they would probably ask for Chinese help to quell the rebellion, and on top of Russian help.
Yeah. I mean, China and Russia aren't happy with North Korea either. So, I don't know. Anyway.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
Nathan, what did you care about in the last 24 hours?
This thing here, it was a Today I Learned.
Okay, what is it?
In 2001, A Space Odyssey, HAL 9000 incorrectly predicts a mate in 2 in a chess game with the astronaut. Fans have speculated this was a filmmaking error, a test by HAL of the human's reliability, or an early sign that HAL is malfunctioning. Kubrick died without revealing the answer.
Rude.
I feel with it being Stanley Kubrick, it's not a filmmaking error.
Yeah, definitely not.
That man is perfect in most of his things, if not all of them.
He doesn't tolerate errors.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Like, it's fucking insane, Stanley Kubrick. He's one of the most admirable directors, if not one of the best directors that has ever been around.
At the same
The
time,
Shining
dude's
was
fucking
fantastic,
crazy.
even though it was a Stephen King horror movie.
Yeah.
2001: A Space Odyssey was fantastic. A Clockwork Orange is probably one of my favorite things on the entire planet. There's one year I dressed up as Alex DeLarge for Halloween.
You want to know something funny?
Hmm.
I've not seen any of his films.
Tell you what, dude, Stanley Kubrick's probably my second favorite director of all time.
Number one being?
Sam Raimi.
Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, I knew that.
I fucking love Sam Raimi. And it's just something about his cheesy movies. It's perfect. Speaking of Raimi, Rami Malek, there's pictures of him in his new outfit for his new movie that he's going to do.
Yeah.
He's going to play Freddie Mercury
Cool.
in a movie called Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's on Reddit, like on the front page. You can click it, and it looks spot on. Speaking of Queen, all of their members of the band have had at least 3, I think. I'm pretty sure it was 3. Every single member of that band has had at least 3 singles that they have written themselves,
Sure.
putting them all into the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Neat. That's pretty epic.
Yep, every member has written at least 3 number 1s. There you go.
Cool. 2 things on my end. One is also a Today I Learned, and that is Today I Learned on the filming of Armageddon, Ben Affleck questioned why they would train oil drillers to be astronauts instead of the other way around. And in response to this, Michael Bay said, "Shut the fuck up." Because that's one of the biggest failings of that movie. Like,
I mean, aside from the movie.
Aside from the whole movie. Yeah, no kidding. In addition, the other thing I cared about in the last 24 hours is that I'm pretty stoked with how the machine's running. I feel like everything's going real well. Maybe this weekend we can try to do some... I mean, I can probably do them on my own here to try and figure out if we can stream to multiple locations at once, because I'd like to try and get YouTube and Twitch up as well.
Oh, dude. Do you know how people are like, they don't give out participation medals at the Olympics?
Do they?
Yeah, that's a thing.
They do?
The Olympics has handed out participation medals since the very first Olympic Games.
I feel like that's understandable. It's the motherfucking Olympics.
It's the motherfucking Olympics. Of course you want to goddamn... I participated in this Olympics. Hell yeah, I want that. I don't even care if I get anywhere near... I can come in dead fucking last. And I would be so goddamn stoked to have that medal.
Yeah, you still went to the fucking Olympics.
I was good enough to be in the Olympics.
You're one of like 8 people in the world that were good enough to go to the Olympics.
I know.
Like, Jesus. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Please remember, everyone, that if you would like to follow and share the show, we would be most appreciative of that on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All of those are at iReaditCast.
Everywhere. Share it on Pornhub in random comments.
Sure. I'm sure. You know what? Go for it, actually.
You want to see 2 dudes fuck around? Link.
Misleading link. Otherwise, please be sure to leave us a 5-star review on Instagram. Nope. On Twitter. Nope. Still wrong. iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. Anywhere that you find the podcast at, please be sure to give us a 5-star review. And if you don't mind, take a moment to subscribe and give us a update over on YouTube. If you would like to watch the YouTube videos as well. Otherwise, you can support us financially at patreon.com/dailyinternet. You can find me on social media at Schwan Michael and Nathan at Bimmenstein. Otherwise, if you got a story you want us to talk about, or if you just got something to get off your chest and let us know, send us an email to our inbox. We'll read it live on the show. Feedback.iread@gmail.com, or call and leave us a voicemail at 508-738-2278. That is it, everybody. That is your 344th dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And please remember, everyone,
Don't get eliminated!
have a good day, everyone.